Hello,
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I have, in fact, walked throughout your department to find a place where I can get the internet. And all the faculties are doing the same. Let us start. I hope that we'll have good
Sir.
performance today.
In the last class, whatever you have taught was not clear to all.
No, let me start from the beginning because I have to busy fight with all these hell of a things. Acha.
Yes, sir.
Now, let us start with the matter temperature stresses. Let us start this thing. Although already we have made it, but it is not. Let us start with the temperature stress system. Now, what I have discussed yesterday in the last classes in a very critical matter is that
Sir, when we will get this PDF in group, sir?
করবো দাঁড়া। What is temperature stresses? What is temperature stresses? First, let us discuss and understand this matter. Look, say we have a prismatic bar when well supported at both ends. Matter will be like this. Whatever way the support is supposed to be perfectly rigid. Are perfectly rigid. Now, initially, the bar was subjected to home temperature only. It is fixed and it is assembled with the rigid end support in home temperature. ठीक है, ये बात फिक्स करना है home temperature में भी without any rise in fall in temperature itself, and both the dono support is perfectly rigid. It not allowed any increase or decrease in the size. There is no deflection is allowed. Home temperature and supports does not allow any deflection. Now, what happens? If the surrounding temperature increases, if the surrounding temperature increases, decreases, what happens? The bar will try to to expand if the temperature increases and or contract if the temperature decreases. But what happens here? It is not allowed to change its position, to change its dimensions. Dimensions may be length, maybe width, maybe height, which is maybe length, width, height. Say prismatic bar, allowed to change any dimension. Then what happens? The bar, the supports is the supports is keeping the keeping the length, the dimension of the bar intact by creating pressure on it. If the bar tries to increase this temperature, the supports will keep its temperature intact by creating compressing load. On the bar. If the surrounding temperature decreases, the bar will try to contract and supports will create tensile load or pressure on it to keep it the dimension within limit, dimension intact. Okay.
Sir, what is tensile load, sir?
বলছি, this tensile compressive load created by the support to keep its size intact is called thermal stress or temperature stresses. Thermal temperature stress. This is the definition. And some of you asked me, what is the tensile force? Say this is the bar. You are applying force here in this direction rightwise, and it is applying force here in the direction leftwise on the bar itself, as if the bar is being pulled both the ends to try to increase this length. This is called, the load that's created is called tensile load, and stress that's created to resist it is called tensile stress. Say another bar like this. It is pressed from left side, it is compressed from right side, thus trying to reduce its length. And this is called compressive load. And the stress which is created to absorb this load, to resist this load, is called compressive stress.
Sir, it will be done from both sides or one side?
No, look, this is the simplest form of loading. This is being loaded from both sides. This is being loaded from both sides. it can be like this. There is a support here. Okay, there can be a support here. There is no load here. It is pulling like this. There can be support here. There are very, very different type of loading can be possible. There it is compressing it. That too compressive load is created. That too tensile load is created. There are so many different types of load is applied. Load can different types, different ways the load can be applied. Say a bar is subject to twist in the one direction and twist in another direction. It is twisting the bar, trying to rotate the bar. It will create shear forces and resisting shear stresses. So another bar, which is maybe supported at this end like this and subject to the load here. This is called bending load. These loads are along the longitudinal axis. Here. This is tensile compressive. This is applied by keeping the longitudinal axis at the center. This is shear forces. And here, the load is applied by normal to the longitudinal axis. It's called bending load. Load can be single load like this. It can be distributed load like this. It can be both. Certain distributed load, certain single load. Distributed load may be distributed throughout the length, or it can be distributed only part of it. Load can be multiple type. Maybe one tension, one compression, maybe a torque may be applied, all are acting together. Just so many things will be there, and so many cases it will be a very complex situation of loading. And in code, if during your course line of throughout this course, when time to time, I will teach all those things.
Sir, as you said, temperature if increases, then metal shape will increase or decrease.
দাঁড়া, সেটাই তো বললাম। সেটাই তো
Yes, sir.
বললাম দেখো।
Give some examples, sir, like what
দাঁড়া,
in
যা বলছি
practical life.
যা আমার প্র্যাকটিক্যাল লাইফে এক্সাম্পল পাবি না। দাঁড়া, যা বলছি শোন। তা কি হলো? Temperature stresses. A change in temperature, also the length of the material here, a change in temperature, length of the material changes. If not allowed to do so, if it is free to do so, no stress will be created. If the material is constrained, the stress develop, which is called temperature stress. This is the definition. And question is, you want to know that example. Unfortunately, daily life, we will not have any example, because the temperature stress which thus formed due to rise or fall in temperature is not visible, not even measurable. Only it can be calculated, because it is only a few microns. But only a few microns of load, microns of increase or decrease in the dimension, create few tons of tensile load, because your bars are sufficiently mostly steel, and they are sufficiently rigid to expand or contract. So if you don't allow them to expand or contract, they will create massive force on the support itself if there is a rise in temperature or fall in temperature. So what happens here? In a concrete room like this, which I am sitting here, possibly you are also sitting here, there are a lot of beams are formed. Today, beam is reinforced beam. Beam is not totally made of steel, made of concrete, but made of steel and concrete. Both have different coefficient of thermal expansion. They will expand differently, and thus they will also create different type of different type of load or pressure over the wall itself. Say a furnace, when it is not ignited, it remains in the room temperature. And when it is ignited, its inside temperature is much higher than the outside temperatures. And all the bars, structures which has formed, which are used to make this furnace, should be strong enough, or should have the the support enough so that it should not break due to the rise in temperature. Say if the surrounding is in 0 degree, surrounding is at a 0 degree temperature, and you're rising the temperature of the furnace of 5000 degrees centigrade. So temperature stress will be created in that amount because all the bars are trying to increase in considerable amount and thus creating huge amount of load. So your structure should be rigid enough to support that load. Otherwise, your whole structure or furnace or any such equipment will break, will cease to function properly. So you have to know what is center temperature stress and how we can calculate and how we can take the remedial to absorb the stresses in your system itself. Now, question is how we will calculate sample stress. Just I have told you, this cannot be measured. The stress, thus the elongation, contraction, days due to temperature stress cannot be measured because they are extremely small. We don't have any measuring ability, measuring equipment which can be measured. So we have to calculate the increase or decrease in length, as well as we have to calculate the load that's created to minimize or reduce this increase or decrease in load. How will you do it? Say it is given here. A ball is of length L. It is increased, surroundings temperature increases by say T. And that its length is increased by an amount. What is the amount? L into alpha into T. L alpha into T. L is the length of the bar. T is the temperature rise of the surrounding. And what is alpha? Alpha is the coefficient of thermal expansion. This is the coefficient of thermal expansion. Okay. But what is that? It gives us a measurement how much deformation will take place per degree rise in temperature. This is it cannot be measured, or it can be only calculated, but approximate values are different from material to material. Now, what is alpha? It's different from material to material. Actually, what are the different materials which you use here? Use in engineering practice? Mostly steel, copper, aluminum, brass. Even out of them, maximum use of steel. That's true, maximum use of mild steel. Throughout your preliminary strength of material books, strength of material study, generally use mild steel, copper, aluminum, and sometimes brass itself. And all of them have distinct and different values of alpha, or coefficient of thermal expansion. So a bar made of steel will change its dimension differently than that of made of copper or aluminum or brass itself. And so what is the amount of expansion it will take place? Length, coefficient of thermal expansion, and temperature rise. Alpha L, alpha T. That is the deflection that will take place equal to delta, which we are preventing to happen by rigidly supporting the bar. So that will be equal to the strain, which is prevented. That is delta L by E itself. So sigma will become stress equal to alpha into T into 3E, because both these L's are cancelling each other. So temperature strain EFSA sigma divided by capital E will become only alpha into T, coefficient of thermal expansion, and the temperature rise on 4. This is the definition itself. What is shown here? What is shown here? A prismatic bar which is supported at this end and hanging. It's a cantilever bar. And if temperature of the surroundings increases, it will increase like an amount delta. It will not allow to increase if we have placed another support here equally rigid, which will not allow this delta to happen. And thus it will create temperature stress, and it will in fact preventing to happen a deformation, thus temperature strain, which is shown here in the earlier, which is not allowing to happen, which is temperature strain. Now it may so happen alpha will be given per degree rise in temperature. Value can be as low as 2.6, 10 to the power minus 6, like this. There were so many things. But per degree rise, there is an important question. What is the per degree centigrade rise, or per degree Fahrenheit rise, or per degree Kelvin rise? Or they are same? No, they are not same. But always in your problems, only per degree centigrade rise is given, not Fahrenheit, not Kelvin. And what is the dimension of this value? In millimeter, in centimeter, inch, meter, or say even kilometer. Are they same? No, they cannot be same. But we will assume this is equal to millimeter per degree rise in temperature, unless it is told otherwise. In our SI system, this is broadly follows: per millimeter rise, increase or decrease, per degree centigrade rise and fall in temperature. Unless it is told otherwise, we will follow accordingly. Now, the supports may be like this. Supports may be like this. Just 1 second. Now, supports may be like this. That allowing temperature stresses are thus developed here. If the material is prevented any expansion, which is L into alpha T. But if there is a case, suppose my yields are unable to prevent total complete expansion, a part of the section is allowing. Then if the yield or the part of the deformation is allowed is equal to alpha, then what will happen? If elongation between this type of temperature with that type of material will be L into alpha into T minus the amount of yield which is allowed, which is equal to sigma L by E, or L alpha T minus A divided by L into E. So there are two ways. One, the supports are not yielding, then this is the deflection itself, and support are yielding by an amount, say alpha, then it will be subtracted from the total elongation, and by dividing L and multiplying E, will get the stress as induced. This stress will definitely less than the stress if the supports are not allowing any yield. Now, if the bar is of tapering section, what will happen? We have already discussed the bar is, just 1 second. Already discussed a tapered bar subjected to a load P at left hand and another P at right hand. So elongation, it happens here due to the action of the load here. Load P is 4PL divided by pi E D and capital D. E is Young's modulus, D is the smallest dimension, and D is the maximum dimension. So if this bar is not under temperature rise or fall, and if both drains are perfectly rigid to not to allow it's any deformation, then the delta thermal stress which is thus developed will be alpha L into alpha T, which is equal to P into L by pi E D, E, D and D, or the pressure thus created, thermal force thus created is alpha into T, and both the L's will cancel each other, this L will cancel each other, and pi E T into D multiplied by alpha L divided by this 4. This is the load created. If it is divided by any cross section, say the smallest cross section, which is at the left side, which is alpha into T pi E D into D divided by 4 into A, where A is the area of the cross section itself. The maximum stress definitely with the minimum diameter. If put the value of A as pi D square, D is the minimum diameter divided by 4, the equation will reduce to alpha T E capital D divided by small d. For the bar uniform cross section, here D is equal to capital D, they will cancel each other, so they will become again equal to alpha T E itself. Next one, important things comes. What is compound section? We have just told you materials has different value of alpha. So if it's such a high situation size is such that two different materials are assembled together, then what will be the stress position and what will be the thermal stress? That we have to calculate or investigate right on this moment. So consider a copper rod. It is enclosed in a steel tube as in figure. The copper rod is here. This is the copper rod, and this is a steel tube. The different dimensions are different. It is not that copper outer diameter of the copper rod is exactly equal to the inner diameter of the steel rod. No, it may not be like this, but they are assembled together, and both the ends they are joined rigidly, say here in this sectional lines. Now, the temperature of the surrounding increased by T0 degree, say centigrade. What will happen? Copper rod, may have a higher coefficient of thermal expansion than steel. Copper rod may have, not may, it has already, may have higher coefficient of thermal expansion than steel. So what happens? This copper portion will try to increase its length more than the steel. Try to increase the length more than that of the steel. And steel cannot be expanded like this. But both are assembled like this. Their ends are perfectly fixed. So they cannot expand or contract independently. They are supposed to do it together. So what will happen? The copper, if it was free to expand, it will be supposed to expand like this. And still, if it is free to expand, it will be supposed to expand up to this portion only. And initially, both were in this position here when it is assembled. So copper can increase its length here, and steel can maximum increase its length here. And they are rigidly fixed. They cannot allow others to move more than itself. So with together, we'll find that they will move in a position in between that. This is with this section line. This is the final position which both of them can move. Thus, steel rod is facing a tensile force to increase it up to this length, and copper rod is executing a compressive load to keep its length up to this length. So copper is under compression, steel is under tension. Steel can maximum increase up to here, but is forced to increase up to here. Copper can increase up to here, but it is allowed to increase only up to here. So you have to compress the copper to keep it up to here, and you have to put tensile force over the copper to extend it up to here. Say alpha T, alpha S, tensile stress in the copper, and sigma AC, not alpha but sigma C is the tensile stress in the steel. Sigma S is the tensile stress in the steel, and sigma C tensile stress in the copper itself. What will happen? Both have different cross section. Steel is like a hollow pipe. It can increase its length up to, I'm sorry, it's a hollow pipe. Its cross-section area is given as AS. And copper, it's a solid pipe, solid rod. Its cross-section area is AC, but they are different from each other. The tensile force from the equilibrium condition, tensile force created in the steel will be equal to the compressive force created in the copper. Because all our assemblies should be in equilibrium, the stress that's created in the tensile stress that's created in the tube, steel or tube, will be equal to the compressive force created in the copper rod. Thus, they are pacifying or keeping, thus they are cancelling each other. So alpha S into AS is equal to sigma S multiplied by AS is equal to sigma S multiplied by sigma C multiplied by AC. So stress induced in the steel, stress in steel multiplied by area, cross-sectional area of the steel equal to stress induced in copper multiplied by area induced in copper, area of copper rod. Thus, sigma S AS is equal to sigma C AC, or sigma S ES multiplied by AS is equal to sigma C AC EC multiplied by ES. So what is meant by this? Sigma C EC is equal to epsa S into AS is equal to epsa C into AC. Thus, the compatibility equation, say alpha S, coefficient of thermal expansion of steel, alpha C, coefficient of thermal expansion of copper, So elongation of steel due to compression, temperature, plus due to tensile stress. There are two types of elongation. One is due to temperature, it is increasing, and another is due to tensile force created by the assembly, due to which it is liable to be increased, is equal to elongation, which is produced due to temperature stress and temperature, and reduction minus subtraction due to the creation of compressive stress to keep the supply equal. Or temperature strain of steel so temperature state of steel temperature stress of steel is plus tensile stress, the temperature strain of copper minus compressive stress. I hope it is clear to you. So temperature stress, same temperature is being raised for both of them, alpha S into T, because both these rods have same length. So both sides will be multiplied by the same length and thus cancelling each other. Plus tensile strain, stress divided by strain, because we know EPSA is equal to sigma by E. So tensile strain of copper, sigma S by ES, and that is equal to temperature strain of copper, steel, copper alpha C into T minus sigma C divided by EC. So if we bought the alpha S and ES together, if you simplify, then alpha S into T, this written here, instead of sigma S by ES, we put EPSA S alpha C into T minus EPSA C. So alpha S plus EC brought together like this, alpha S, EPSA S plus EPSA C, and this will be equal to T multiplied by alpha C minus alpha S, which is given here, where coefficient of thermal expansion of copper is much more than coefficient of thermal expansion of steel. Thus, this is the positive reaction. So both the strain multiplied by the strain is equal to the difference in their coefficient of thermal expansion multiplied by the T itself. These two equations are sufficient to solve the problems accordingly.